All right, so today we got to talk about Bitcoin. Now, we're going to be talking about a lot with Bitcoin today. For one, we're going to be doing the technical analysis with Bitcoin, and then we are also going to be going over why Bitcoin pumped recently and whether or not Bitcoin is going to be able to reach 30K from here or will it go down to 10K. So, I'm going to tell you exactly why I do believe it's going down to 10K, and a lot of other people out there believe it as well. So, definitely hit that like button and subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. Definitely go over there and check out my other channel, Marcellus Travels. Go ahead and check that out. But let's get straight to this. So let's talk about Bitcoin here. So as you can see, Bitcoin right now is at 19.1K. If you've been watching my previous videos, you know I do videos on Baby Dogecoin all the time, and I also do a Bitcoin technical analysis in those videos. I'm probably gonna start separating the two now, and then just putting the Bitcoin technical analysis as its whole, like as a one whole. So as you can see here, though, we were talking about this support, and I knew the 18.2K support was coming for Bitcoin. It's inevitable. But look, with these indicators, these green areas indicate supply and demand of more demand. The red indicators indicate supply and demand of less demand. So if we get to a more demand area, we see that pretty much as a support line. And if we get to the less demand area, the red ones, then we see that as resistance. So let's talk about this. First things first, look over here. It says 24-hour market control and controlled by the bears within the last 24 hours by 80%. So it's 80% bearish here. That kind of puts a little bit of a perspective here with this. Now, what you also want to look out for here with this is our oscillator. So oscillator is down here. As you can see, we were oversold, which is indicated by this right here. This was an overselling area. That's why when we hit the support, which was a more demand area at 19.6K, it went back up and then it tried to break the resistance. So you can actually see right up here, it tried to break this 19.8K resistance, but it couldn't do that. So it had to go right back down after that. But look at what happened after that. We get down here, we start forming a red area indicating that less demand is now inside of the market for Bitcoin. We start going down, right? And then before that, we had this increase here on the oscillator, which was a buying increase there. And you can see it indicated by this whole area right here. More buying came in. But what happened again? We had another oversold area. More selling brought us way back down here, but then we hit a more demand area, which is the green area. That's why we started to go up a little bit more. Now, something else that you're also seeing here on the sidelines, you're seeing it says high activity expected, low activity expected, and then moderate activity expected. These areas are for institutional interest and dark pools, institutional investors, dark pools, large whales, all that good stuff. Right now, we're inside this high activity area. It could either be high buying activity and high selling activity, but we pretty much have to figure out which one of these activity areas is it more than likely going to be. So first thing you want to look over here is the oscillator. So as you can see, this was a bullish signal. Look, we had an oversold area followed by another oversold area, followed by a smaller area of selling. See, the reason why this is so significant is just notice how all these selling areas just slowly but surely slowed down. So as you can see here, this selling area much larger than this one. This one right here, much larger than this one. It pretty much got smaller and smaller as it went, which is why the oscillator is showing that as a bullish signal. But the main thing that you want to look at now is this green wave up here. Notice how the green wave is forming, but now it's kind of topping out. It's a small purchasing area, just like this one. It started to go up and form, but then it easily topped out, didn't go much further. Went over here, didn't go much further, easily topped out. You kind of get the drift. Over here, it didn't go and just easily, top out there. You can actually see it was overbought, but it kept going all the way up here, and then it went down. That's why we had such an increase here. That's the technical reason for the increase. Now, the fundamental reason for the increase was the CPI data that we're going to be talking about. But right now, the technical increase that we had, that's just because the numbers here were showing like this. Now, what we really want to talk about here is what's going to happen next year inside of Bitcoin. So we have this whole red area here for Bitcoin. Whole green area for our more demand area here. But look at what we have immediately above us at about 19.3K, all the way up here spanning at 19.6K. So from 19.3K to 19.6K, there's way less demand for Bitcoin. Even if Bitcoin were to try to get back above there, we still have all these other red areas with less demand in our supply and demand areas. So if you really want to look at this, spanning from 20.2K all the way down here to 19.3K, we have less demand for Bitcoin. So if we're looking at this from a technical point of view, it's going to be very hard for Bitcoin to get up there. But what we do have is a slightly green area showing that we do have a little bit of demand for Bitcoin here. So we still have that possibility to rise back up to possibly 19.4K before we get rejected. But ultimately, I still believe we're going to get rejected back down to 18.2K. So we should still be seeing 18.2K here in Bitcoin very soon. So prepare for that. Now, remember, this is just a 15-minute chart. We need to go ahead and look at the other charts just to see where we're going to be heading with that. So let's go over here to the 4-hour chart. Now, the 4-hour chart, more long term. But as you can see here with the 4-hour chart, you're seeing that we're coming off of an overbought area. This whole green area here is showing that we were really overbought this whole time. So since there was a lot of overbuying, we didn't even get all the way up to 20.1K, which is a shame, but we're still going to continue to go down here, back down to that support, 18.2K. I'm calling it. Look, we're coming off of an overbought area. We typically get selling after an overbought area. We haven't even reached the bottom of this overbought wave, meaning that it's probably going to end up continuing to go down until about 18.2K. Now, I still believe we're going to continue to go down to 14K and 10K. I'll show you exactly why going over here to the 1 week chart. 14K, 10K, these two areas here are the areas where we have the most demand. We have this green area indicating that it's the most demand in this area, spanning from 10K to 14K. But there's also high activity here where we're at, which is probably going to be that high selling activity that I was talking about. Also, notice the waves on the oscillator like the previous one. Small waves of purchasing, large waves of selling. Yes, it's a bullish signal for this, but it was a small bullish signal. It was a small purchasing area for there. So now what we're looking at is a slowly but surely, we're going to slowly but surely go down here to this 10K area, or maybe even stopping at 14K and going back up. But I personally believe we're going down at 10K. I don't personally believe we're going to hit 4K, or I mean 14K, and then just continue to pump from there. I think it's going to I think it's going to take the full force of 10K. That's also going to give us a lot of time to build up that momentum to rise back up higher. And I keep mentioning this over and over again, but I'm gonna keep doing it. This 12th of October, 2020. That's actually where our peak was here. Well, not our peak, but it was our resistance, and that's the part that we really had a problem trying to pass. We were trying to pass it for months on end, and we just couldn't do it. So from the 2019 high of September 2nd, the 2019 September 2nd area, we tried to break past. We couldn't break past it. We got rejected. We tried again over here, 2020, February 17th, couldn't get past 10K, got rejected. We tried again over here, the 27th of July, 2020, couldn't get past 10K, kind of just started to trade sideways, didn't go much lower. But then the 12th of October, something great happened, and we're finally able to get past that parabolic movement all the way up to the upside. And that's the reason why this is most likely going to be that support area for us. It was such a huge area of resistance, and we haven't been at that area since 2020. And that's exactly what happened right before we became bullish. That's the exact moment Bitcoin became bullish, went all the way from 10K to 16 to 60K. So the same thing is going to happen again. We're going to get down there. We're going to get to that 10K, and then it's going to hold as a heavy support. It's not going to want to get below it. It's going to hit 14K, bounce back up to 16K. It's going to go back down to 14K, possibly going down to 12, bounce back up to 14. Go down to 10K, bounce back up to 16K. Go back to like 12K. It's going to bounce between these areas. So you're really going to see Bitcoin flowing like water from 10K to 19K, just up, down, up, down, up, down. It's not going to want to get anywhere out of those ranges. So from 10K to 19K, we're really just going to see up and downs until the bull market. I do not believe Bitcoin is going below 10K. That's just me personally. Like I said, you can believe whatever you want. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. But me personally, I do not think Bitcoin will go below 10K. But let's go over some other people's analysis here. So the CPI reports that we're looking at, this is why, everything was bullish. So let's talk about this. So given today's macroeconomic environment, investors are treading quite carefully. The Bitcoin price sank immediately after the new CPI reports came in. The U.S. consumer prices in September slowed down compared to the previous months. However, the inflation has continued to gain momentum. Bitcoin plunged nearly 3% since the report came to its lowest level since September. The Bitcoin price touched the 18K mark, triggering other cryptocurrencies to plummet immediately. This new decline made several investors and analysts believe that the crypto will definitely touch the $10,000 mark. So other analysts inside the market are looking at this like, look, we could probably be touching $10,000 Bitcoin very soon. I'm looking at it like the same way. So I definitely believe $10,000 Bitcoin is not far-fetched. But let's keep going over it. So Bitcoin price prediction reports from Cointelegraph and TradingView have also confirmed that Bitcoin USD threatened to plummet further below, given the core inflation trends acted to unsettle the digital assets market by demonstrating a reversal of the previously falling inflation numbers. So actually, the CPI was expected to decrease to around 8% from its previous 8.3% area. Since the value of Bitcoin and CPI data is somehow interlinked through investors' sentiment, the Bitcoin price tanked when the conditions went otherwise, enhancing market sell-off fears. So over here is the next one they're talking about. So will Bitcoin shoot up to $30,000 or $10,000? So pretty much what FX Street and their analysts think, that the rally to $30,000 at this point is quite unexpected. So yeah, they're pretty much saying no. They said, but the value of cryptocurrency might surely plummet below $15,000, and I definitely agree with that. I definitely do agree. So before its attempt to cross the $30,000 mark once again. So it said we may try to cross it once again, but get rejected and then go straight back down there. So that's also a possibility. But then it says this resistance is quite critical for the flagship crypto. If Bitcoin fails to attain this mark once again, the digital asset will witness major sell-offs, making a bad start to 2023. So pretty much they're saying if we cannot pass 30K this next time, like if we cannot get past that, then what we're going to see is a sharp dive downwards to 15 to 10K. And I definitely agree with that. And 30K is definitely a very significant area. If you actually look over here with this 30K area, it's all the way up here. But you can actually see that's the area that we crossed. And the second we crossed it, we just started to go bearish. So that is our resistance that we want to watch out for. That was on the 10th of June. And we crossed that 10th of June 2022. We immediately went very bearish. And then we sold off heavy from 30K all the way down here to 18K, all within the matter of days, literally days, a week. It took a week for it to go to 30K down to 18K. That is a huge drop, and that is major for us. That's why I'm looking at this 18.2K support. And a lot of people, they don't like to look at the underlying facts here. Like whenever you see support lines like this that are so strong that keep getting met over and over again, just know that's probably going to be the same support that we're about to run into. Just like the resistance back inside of 2020 that we're just talking about, that resistance is such a major line of resistance, then it becomes our support in 2 years. See, our highs then become our lows. So our new low is going to be 10K because that was our last high for 2020, like 2 years ago. So that's going to be our new low. Now we're looking at this 18K area. This, like, we keep hitting it over and over again. So you see here, 18th of June 2022, we hit 18.2K. You see over here on the 22nd of September, we hit 18.2K. And then we hit it again over here, the 28th of September. And now we're still hovering around this area. The next time we get down to this support, you're probably going to end up seeing it break down below 18.2K. We can't just keep bouncing off it and not break down below it. I definitely think it's going to go below it. And then from there, 16K. So I would say prepare for that now. But like I said, none of this is financial advice. Not a financial advisor. It does look like some markets are trying to recover here on crypto, but ultimately you're still seeing a sharp sell-off after every single pump. These pumps are not sustained. They just keep pumping, but then they sell off almost immediately. But anyways, let me know what you all think about this. Leave a comment in the comment section. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. As always, I'll be back with another video.